Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randirhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
This email comes in. What are you thinking?
Honestly, my takeaway when all of this was going on is that someone has information on our opponent. You know, things are going a million miles an hour. You know what it's like to be on a campaign. We just won Indiana, but we're talking about a contested convention. Things are going a million miles an hour again. And, hey, wait a minute. I've heard about all these things, but maybe this is something. I should hear them out.
Okay, when you read the parts about the Russian government or Russia supporting your father, did that put off any sirens in your head?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I think this was, again, just basic information that was going to be possibly there. I didn't know these guys well enough to understand that if this talent manager from Miss Universe, you know, had this kind of thing. So I wanted to hear him out and play it out and see what happens. But, you know, people are trying to reach out to you all the time with this.
All right, so you spent a lot of time talking about it, and you actually said at one point that, hey, if it turns out to say what you say it is,
of course.
What did you think it might be?
Listen, I'd been reading about scandals that people were probably underreporting for a long time, so maybe it was something that had to do with one of those things. I mean, this was her, perhaps, involvement with the Russian government. So, you know, again, I didn't know there was any credibility. I didn't know if there was anything behind it. I can't vouch for the information. You know, someone sent me an email. I can't help what someone sends me. You know, I read it, I responded accordingly, and if there was something interesting there, I think it's pretty common.
What about the
Someone sends me an email and I respond to it. Nigerian princes are going to be so happy about this news that the Trump family responds to random emails sent by governments. Oh my God, did you see this last night? Sean Hannity shooting freaking blanks at the smoking gun. He's like faced with a gun and he shoot blank. Oh, I thought they were so good at self-defense. You know, he asked nothing. He just, so what did your father, what did you think when you saw that it was a representative of the Russian government, this Natalia Veselnitskaya? And he blames it on a fat bastard. You know, the Big Lebowski dude. He blames it on the dude, right? The manager of the pop star, the Russian pop star, Ayman. But you see, in the email, this is why he's such either an idiot or an idiot liar or some combination of the two. He leaves out the whole part that Ayman and his father were mentioned in the email as being the people who could connect Junior with an agent of the Russian government, somebody that was a Russian government attorney, and that was Natalia, right? And so he just, you know, I thought if the manager of the Miss Universe pageant could have had some contact, you know, then I would take the meeting and you know, and so what did you think when you saw the Russian government words? And he leaves out the whole part about Ayman and his father. And of course, Ayman's father in Russia is known as the Donald Trump of Russia. So these are, and by the way, they know each other because Donald Trump was looking to build Trump Tower Moscow. Oh, I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you. And they leave all this out because Hannity is such an amazing interviewer. And, you know, he even got to the point where he said, well, you know, I'm just an opinion guy is what it is. I'm just, all I do is, you know, opinion. Finally, you understand that Fox News is not news, finally. But, you know, it was just so amazing watching this arrogant little prick. And that's what, you know, Trump Jr. is. Just sit there and, you know, like Hannity was, you know, a safe space. It was like, you know, Linus's blanket. He was in the, you know, in the safe zone. I mean, it's just an amazing thing. But what we learned last night, Donald Trump Jr. will answer phishing emails to change his password. Donald Trump Jr. will respond to Nigerian princes, and dad sits at home and tweets his son's appearances on the TV. Oh, yes. Last night, Donald Trump literally tweeted out 9 links to Fox and Friends. 9 links. And then said, I have very little time for watching TV. You could watch all of Fox and Friends, the whole show on Donald Trump's Twitter feed. You could watch he's like your crazy uncle. He really, did you see what Fox and Friends just said? See, I was right. I was right there, Mabel. I was right. Now I'm going to beat you with a box of Tide. Then I'm going to call the cops. Yes, ma'am. We're responding to your call. We heard your husband beat you with a box of Tide. Would you like to press charges? No, I love that man. You know. This morning, Donald Trump tweeted, "The White House is functioning perfectly, focused on health care, tax cuts, reform, and many other things. I have very little time for watching TV." Look at your Twitter feed. You are broadcasting TV. You are actually a cable system unto yourself. You are actually providing entire episodes of things that air on Fox for the whole country to watch. Nobody even has to, pay their cable bill anymore. You want to see what's on Fox? All you got to do is check Donald Trump's Twitter feed. He has retweeted so much of Fox and Friends. I don't recall Obama ever having to explain to the American people that he just wasn't watching TV. Do you remember, Obama tweeting anything or explaining to the American people, I'm doing much more than watching TV? No, I don't remember that. And they ripped him apart for golfing. And you've got a president who's like on vacation every week at one of his own golf courses to promote it. It's just such a crazy thing. Even George Bush, who frittered away all his time exercising. Remember him? He was always exercising, always exercising. The only cardio that Trump gets is, when his heart rate skyrockets, if he's yelling at Morning Joe, if he changes the channel and wanders off of the Fox News network, all of a sudden his heart rate goes through and he starts tweeting. And this is the only cardio that man gets. It's just unbelievable. And of course he has plenty of time for watching TV. Have you seen his schedule? Have you seen it? Since he got back from the G20, where they're now calling it the G19 because it was 19 of the top economies in the U.S. minus America. His schedule is empty. I mean, here you do have this big battle going up, on the Senate. Mitch McConnell, wow, took this ultimate step. Wow, this is very severe, everybody. This is extremely severe. They're going to cut short their vacation in August. Wow. That's severe for the Republican Senate. They're going to cut short their own vacation because he cannot get this health care bill passed. They say they are getting no help from Donald Trump. Donald Trump doesn't know what's in any of these bills. Donald Trump hasn't read any of these bills. These bills are being written in secret by Mitch McConnell in the Senate and lobbyists for the health insurance companies. And that's why when you hear words like, this health care bill provides flexibility so that you can buy what you need. No, it's flexibility for the insurance companies to provide you with nothing and charge you a premium for bare bones coverage, which is what exactly Ted Cruz wants. It's exactly what Rand Paul wants, okay? But the rest of them don't want this. Susan Collins doesn't want this. Murkowski doesn't want. I mean, they can't get anything done. And the president is not advocating for any policy, whether it's bare bones policies, which suck, but, advocate for something, choose a side. He doesn't. He's not involved. The freaking Republicans in the Senate are actually starting to throw him overboard, which is, great news for us. But, oh my God, this man is just sitting there doing absolutely nothing, watching TV. So, dodged a bullet there. And it didn't come from Sean Hannity because he's shooting blanks. He doesn't do anything. Donald Trump doesn't do anything. He does more damage, though. I mean, with this inactivity of his, you could have a feverish guy who wants to spy on Americans, a la George Bush, who's held in check by guys like James Comey and apparently this Christopher Wray guy who was, on Capitol Hill today. He was at the Senate Judiciary Committee, testifying to be at his confirmation hearing for the new. He wants to be my new boyfriend, and I say no. I say no. He might be boyfriend material. I mean, I don't know. He answered all the questions correctly, not like Donald Trump Jr. Let's just say that. But, the bar is set so low after you watch Donald Trump Jr. fold under questioning that you don't know what to. So Chris Wray, he can answer questions. He says he's loyal to the Constitution. Yay. We find, we have somebody who, isn't taking an oath to the president. But, I didn't think, I didn't think it was good. It wasn't very exciting, I have to tell you. It wasn't like Comey. It wasn't one of those hearings. It wasn't like Sally Yates. It wasn't one of those hearings. It wasn't, informative in any way. It was just, I'll ask you a question and you give me the, the rote answer. And, that's kind of what we got, and it was okay. Listen, I'll show you a little bit of it, all right? You want to see a little bit? Yeah, here's a little.
How will you protect whistleblowers in the FBI and hold retaliators accountable, not just with your words, but with your actions? I'm sorry to say that your predecessors did a poor job in this respect, even though they may have been...
Hey, you're trashing my boyfriend. And you're trashing Robert Mueller. Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
Very effective in running a law enforcement agency and seeing that everybody got the criminals they should get.
Well, Mr. Chairman, your reputation for looking out for whistleblowers, I think, is maybe unparalleled. And certainly, I know this is a topic that's very important to you. I would say, first off, retaliation against whistleblowers is just wrong, period. I'm obviously not familiar with, yet, the Bureau's internal processes, but there needs to be a process that allows for appropriate concerns to be raised. And whistleblowers, in my experience, having seen them in a lot of different kinds of organizations, can play a very important role in ensuring accountability. There's not just oversight from congressional committees and courts, but there is a form of accountability that comes from within, and oftentimes whistleblowers can be a very important part of that.
But there was an interesting segment right after that, because here you have Chris Wray, who is, everybody's praising him for being willing to serve under Jeff Sessions, to serve under Donald. Everybody, I mean, even the Democrats, they were telling him, listen, this is a really crappy time to be the FBI director because you'll have to serve under, that piece of crap Jeff Sessions. And of course, then you got Donald Trump who's going to ask you to take, loyalty pledges to him. And we just want to thank you. We want to thank your family. Hi, Trip. Trip is his son, and we want to thank your daughter, and we want to thank your wife and your cousins and your aunt twice removed, who also. He brought his whole freaking extent. It's like he did Ancestry.com, or and all the Leafs. All the Leafs were there supporting him, because this is such a tenuous time for him, because he is accepting a job working for a madman. And so they were thanking him profusely for being willing to take the job, is what it was. But this was a very interesting answer. So he gave the answer to the whistleblower question. I don't think any of us care very much about this topic. No. But it was interesting, because Grassley then answers him, because he says, of course, Senator Grassley, I know whistleblower protection is very important to you. And I just, I don't know the procedure yet. As soon as I learn it, I will let you know whether or not it's a good procedure and whether or not we should use it. And, but I will protect whistleblowers. I believe in it. I'm good with it. I'm down with it. That. And then Grassley gives him the bad news that there are going to be interlopers, people who will not protect whistleblowers, and no matter how hard you try, they're going to fire him. And this guy, you could tell he's like a law enforcement dude and a lawyer, because the look on his face is like, what did you just say? You just said that I'm going to be over. Here I am trying to take this job at the FBI, and I'm doing it in this tenuous time, in this crazy time, and I'm willing to work for a man. And now you're confirming to me that I am going to work for mad people, for insane people in an insane asylum. And he reaches for like his pad and his pencil, like he wants to write this down and remember this moment where he was warned not to take this job. Look at this. It's very short, but look at this.
I want to assure you that at least two of your predecessors have told me exactly the same thing. So I think it's how you interpret your own words, that whistleblowers shouldn't be retaliated against. But you can understand why I don't expect that you're misleading me in any way. But your good intentions may not be carried out, and so I think that it's important that you know that. I'm not going to ask you the last question, but I want you to be aware of the fact that FBI whistleblowers are the only federal law enforcement officers who have no access to an independent judicial review.
Did you see him? Did you see his face? He's like, oh, damn, I am working for a crazy man. Oh, my God, what am I doing here? And then he started talking about, if this stuff happens, I'm going to resign. Hey, what a great start to a new job. He basically told her, he goes, listen, if the president is really off the rails the way that we think he is, I'll take this job. But I want you to remember this look on my face and these words. If the president does this crap, I'll try and talk him out of it, and then I'm resigning. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.